Okay, Casey McLaren.
Here.
Director Ariki.
Here.
Director Calandri.
Here.
Director Urosic.
Here.
Director Paris.
Here.
Phyllis Stannon.
Kate and Phyllis won't be able to make this meeting.
Okay, thank you, Kate. And I'm going to mark you here. And Craig Parton.
Here.
Okay. We also have present Matt Knudson, Pete Thompson, and Angel Fitzpatrick.
And Patty, can you identify our alternates that are on the queue?
Yes, we have Angelica. I'm sorry, I always get your name wrong. And Adriana Recca.
Very good. Thank you very much. And we have called the meeting to order, and now we're on item 3, adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
This is Adam. I move that we adopt the agenda.
Motion made by Adam, second by Kathy.
Yes.
Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion to adopt the agenda by roll call vote?
Director McLaren.
Yes.
Director Ariki.
Yes.
Director Calandri.
Yes.
Director Urosic.
Yes.
And Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We're now on public comments. Is for non-agenda items. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment on a non-agenda item?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Please identify yourself with your full name, please.
Yes, my name is Benny Moore, Moe's Water Station, and I'm wondering if I can meet with the counsel, Craig Parton. He sent me a letter, and I'm acting as my own attorney, and I need to get with him on the letter that he sent me. So I'm just wondering if he can do that.
And Craig's on the line.
Yeah, we've had discussions in the past with Mr. Moore and sent him a letter with respect to where he is in terms of the judgment. And so, I mean, I'm certainly, the answer is I'll meet with him. I'm happy to do so. But just recognize that the issues have been discussed in the past, and I don't know that there's any new information. And there is obviously the cost of these exercises for the board to take into consideration. But that said, I'm happy to discuss whatever new information he has.
And Mr. Moore, this is Rob Paris. I think the better course for you right now would be meet with staff first and see if they can help you. And then if you do need to talk to Mr. Parton, staff would coordinate that with you. But the expense to the Water Master board and to the public is pretty great with paying our attorney for these type of meetings if staff can handle that. So would that be okay with you?
Yes, I'd be glad to meet with you guys first. At your leisure, can you guys please let me know?
Yeah, just call Patty, and Patty will arrange a meeting with you, and hopefully they can give you some direction that might help you. Will that work for you?
Yes, I think it will.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Moore. You have a good day. Anyone else that has a public comment on a non-agenda item? Going once, going twice, gone. There are no special presentations. We're now on the consent agenda. And consent agenda is item A, payment of bills through March 18, 2022. Item B, treasurer's report for the month ending February 28, 2022. Item C, accounts receivable aging summary as of February 28, 2022. And item D, minutes of February 23rd, 2022 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Adam here. I move that we approve the consent item agenda.
Motion made by Adam. Second by John. John, that's correct. You second that motion?
That is correct.
Great, thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the consent agenda? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ariki,
Yes.
Director Calandri,
Yes.
Director Urosic,
Yes.
Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We're now on item 7, advisory committee report. And we do have a written report in the agenda. Anything to add from the advisory committee?
Hi, this is James Chasen. No, we have nothing further to add.
Great, thank you, James.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on item 8, committee reports, administrative committee.
Yes, good morning. This is Matt Knudson.
Go ahead, Matt.
So the administrative committee made up of directors Ariki and Urosic have met a couple times over last month since our last board meeting. The items that we reviewed are the RFP for Water Master Administrator and administrative support staff. That is going to be reviewed later in the meeting, and we also discussed the payment of bills in detail with the administrative committee. So that's all I have to report, unless directors Ariki or Urosic would like to add anything.
Great, thank you. Adam, Derek, anything to add?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I think Matt summarized it well.
Thank you, Adam. Derek?
Me neither. Thank you very much.
Great, and thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
We're on item 9, consideration and possible action on transfer applications. That was going to be Kate, and starting with item A.
Francis Kate White from Todd Groundwater. Is my volume okay for everyone?
Can you turn it up a little bit? You're having a little light here.
How's that? Is that better?
Nope.
Nope. All right, I'm going to try another thing. How's that?
That's better.
Okay. So there are 3 transfer applications on today's agenda, and the advisory committee recommended approval of all 3 applications. And the first one starts on page 34 of the agenda packet. And Jeffrey and Nancy Siebert would like to do a one-time transfer of 100 acre-feet of carryover water to West Valley County Water District. The Sieberts are an Exhibit 4 party, and West Valley County Water District is an Exhibit 3 party. And both parties are in the West Antelope sub-area, as shown on Figure 1, which is on page 36 of the packet. The Sieberts are not pumping groundwater. West Valley County Water District has 1 active well and 1 standby well. It has a production rate of 40 acre-feet per year, but has been pumping about 100 to 170 acre-feet per year for a population of 766 residents, which is about 237 connections. And its ramp down has been declining, and a portion of the transfer will be used for its 2021 replacement water obligation. And the remainder, which is about 83 acre-feet, will be used for future replacement water obligations. And it actually paid a replacement water assessment for its 2020 replacement water obligation. Figure 1, which is on page 36, shows locations of the Siebert and West Valley County Water District well parcels with respect to spring 2021 groundwater contours. Figure 2, which is on the next page, which is 37, shows hydrographs from nearby wells monitored by the USGS. The hydrograph of the well closest to the water district, which is numbered 33901 in the lower left corner of Figure 2, shows an increase in water levels since about 2016. This well is about 2 miles southeast of the West Valley County Water District well parcel. And there's no material injury associated with groundwater storage and sustainable yield, since the production is moving from one location to another in the West Antelope sub-area. There are no expected impacts to local water quality, recharge, or subsidence associated with this production. And recognizing that this is a one-time transfer to offset replacement water obligations, and that the West Valley County Water District pumping does not represent new pumping, Todd Groundwater finds the potential for material injury as defined in the judgment negligible. Are there any questions on this transfer?
Okay, thank you, Kate. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution number R2217?
This is Derek. I'll make.
I think I heard John first making the motion, and Derek, you're going to do the second?
That is fine.
Okay. Motion made by John, second by Derek. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve resolution number R2217 by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ariki,
Yes.
Director Calandri,
Yes.
Director Urosic,
Yes.
Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We're now on item B, resolution number R2218. Kate?
Second transfer, and it starts on page 54 of the packet. Stephen Selleck and Richard Selleck would each like to transfer 10 acre-feet of carryover water for a total of 20 acre-feet to 40th Street East Water Group. The Sellecks split their production rights in July 2020 and each has 75 acre-feet per year. And they have previously transferred water to the 40th Street East Water Group to offset replacement water obligations. The 40th Street East Water Group is on the default list, but was granted up to 37 acre-feet per year of new production. And that occurred in May 2020. And in December 2021, it became an Exhibit 4 party from a transfer of 1 acre-feet per year of permanent production rights from Craig and Martha Van Dam. This transfer will become carryover water for use in future years. Past production has averaged about 12.56 acre-feet per year, and 40th Street East Water Group has credit with the Water Master and will pay for its 2021 water use with this credit. Both parties are in the central Antelope Valley sub-area, as indicated on the figure on page 55 of the packet. And the Sellecks are not pumping water, and the 40th Street East Water Group will be using this transfer to maintain current production levels in 2022 and 2023. Recognizing that this is a one-time transfer to offset replacement water obligations, and that 40th Street East Water Group pumping does not represent new pumping, Todd Groundwater finds potential for material injury as defined in the judgment negligible for this transfer as well. Are there any questions?
Any questions regarding resolution R2218?
Did you say that they were granted 40 acre-feet per year in 2020?
Yeah, they were granted 37 acre-feet per year of new production in 2020. And then subsequently, they bought a permanent production right, and so they're now Exhibit 4 parties and so they're able to carry over water.
Mm-hmm.
But
And they were, how they were granted by court? The 40 acre?
no, it was actually 37 acre-feet per year of new production, and that was new production. The board just approved that.
I see. Yes, so that water need to be replaced, and then what they're buying is water to be used for replacement.
Yes, but they also now, since they're an Exhibit 4 party, they can buy a transfer and carry that water over as an Exhibit 4 party. And so the water,
Okay. Craig, I know it's probably this is all consistent with the judgment.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts in those that secure an acre-foot of water?
I know.
It's kind of a go about approach.
Yeah, we talked about that when it was occurring, that it provided them the opportunity to be an Exhibit 4 party and accept transfers, and that there was nothing in the judgment that prohibited that kind of effort. So it's a complicated past history, but I don't see a basis in the judgment to object to it.
I hear you. Understood. But do you believe, was that an oversight or?
No, we discussed it, and the issue was very clear because I think they got 1 acre foot at a certain point to become an Exhibit 4 party, and there was some question raised about what the intentions were. But it complied with the judgment. It wasn't something that snuck by us.
Sure. And do you foresee any lasting ramifications?
No, I mean they were on the default list and got their new production application approved, presumably, and Kate can confirm, but that there was a requirement to pay for any excess use. And then they went into the Exhibit 4 category with respect to the transferred water. So
okay, and this only applies to the default parties.
Yeah, only to their situation. If you're in a like situation as 40th Street.
That's a default party.
Yeah, they are defaulted, but they did an application for new production and got their water right that way.
Got it. All right.
Okay, any further discussion on Resolution R2218? Hearing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve Resolution R2218?
I
This is
approve,
Adam.
Kathy.
Go ahead.
Motion made by Kathy, is there a second?
Adam, second.
Motion second by Adam. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve Resolution R2218 by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ariki,
Yes.
Director Calandri,
Yes.
Director Urasic,
Yes.
Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We're now on item C, Resolution R2219. Kate?
All right, this is the last transfer. Yes.
Excuse me, Rob, if I could jump in. I'm going to recuse myself from this one because this has to do with Bolthouse Properties and ask Adrian to step in for me.
Okay, that will be fine, Derek. You are aware that our council has said there's no reason you do need to, but I certainly understand if you want to.
Thank you very much.
And just so we all know, this comes up every once in a while. But I don't think Director Urasic needs to recuse himself. We did a memo on that back in September 2019 on the issue, but certainly understand why he feels the need to have an alternate for this discussion. Just want it clear there's no legal obligation to do this.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig, and Adrian, welcome aboard for next few minutes.
Thank you.
And Kate,
All right.
go ahead.
All right, this transfer starts on page 68 of the packet. And Gary Godde would like to transfer 715 acre feet of carryover water to Bolthouse Properties, and both are Exhibit 4 parties. The Godde family split their 683 acre feet per year production rights 3 ways in 2020. And Gary Godde has a carryover water to transfer to Bolthouse. And Bolthouse has a production right of 9,945 acre feet per year and would like to this transfer to maintain current production levels. The table on page 69 of the packet shows Bolthouse's annual production, which averages about 13,000 acre feet per year, and it's declining ramp down. And so you can see that it definitely needs more water to continue to maintain current production. And so the transfer will be used for Bolthouse's 2021 replacement water obligation. And a figure on page 70 of the packet shows spring 2021 groundwater contours and the location of the Godde parcel in the central Antelope Valley subarea, and the approximate area of Bolthouse parcels in the central and southeast subareas. Bolthouse's 2021 annual production report indicates that it was producing water from 50 wells spread across their farm parcels in 2021. Figure 2 on page 71 of the packet shows hydrographs in wells monitored by the USGS, and in general, there does not appear to be recent declining groundwater level trends in the southern portion of the central Antelope Valley subarea or in the southeast subarea. Because this transfer will be used as a replacement water obligation and results in a shift of the location of water production, there is no material injury associated with groundwater storage and sustainable yield. And there is no expected impact to local groundwater quality or natural recharge associated with this production. Recognizing that this is a one-time transfer and that this water does not represent new production, Todd Groundwater finds the potential for material injury as defined in the judgment negligible. Are there any questions on this one?
Any questions on resolution R2219?
Good.
Hearing no questions, is there a motion to approve resolution R2219?
So moved, John.
I think I heard Adam first. Is that Adam? Were you?
Either way, Mr. Chair.
Well, I like to give first rights to the first voice I hear. So Adam made the motion, and John, are you okay to second that motion?
I am.
Great, thank you. Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve resolution R2219? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ricky,
Yes.
Director Flandry,
Yes.
Director Recca,
Yes.
Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. Stepping down at this point, and is Derek coming back?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you for your service, and Derek, you're back.
I am. Thank you.
We're now on item 10, consideration and possible action on rail applications. Kate?
Actually, Angel will cover this item.
No, that's
Yes,
okay.
this is the Angel Show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Angel
Okay, go
Show.
ahead,
Thanks,
Angel.
Rob.
I apologize.
No, that's fine. Okay, so good morning. We have two application for 2 monitoring wells on this month's agenda. The application starts on page 89. The 2 monitoring wells will be located in the central Antelope sub area. NGO Asset Management was ordered by Lahontan to drill 2 new monitoring wells at an ARCO gas station at Avenue J and Division Street in Lancaster. These monitoring wells will address data gaps in ongoing groundwater assessments of petroleum hydrocarbon impacts in the soil and the groundwater. Does anybody have any questions on this application?
Are there any questions on resolution R2220?
No. Angel, they do get a drilling permit from LA County Health Department, correct?
Yes, LA County Health Department's actually the ones that direct them to the Water Master for approval.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any further questions? If there's no further questions, is there a motion to approve resolution R2220?
This is Derek. I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Derek. Is there a second?
Adam, second.
Motion second by Adam. Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve resolution R2220? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve resolution R2220 by roll call vote?
Director McLaren, Director McLaren?
She muted?
Kathy, are you there?
Let's go on. Director Ariki?
Yes.
Director Calandri?
Yes.
Director Urasic?
Yes.
Director Paris?
Yes. And Kathy, have you come back? I'm going to call Kathy real quick. We'll get her on.
So did you hear that, Kathy, that we're still voting on R2220? Director McLaren? Director McLaren?
Okay, Director McLaren is on speakerphone and she can hear everything and she's having some technical difficulty. And Kathy, we are voting on resolution R2220. Everybody has voted except for you. And I'll just have Patty ask for your vote.
Director McLaren? Yes. Okay, thank you. She voted it.
And
Yes.
Kathy has voted yes. The motion's carried unanimously. And now we're on item 11, consideration and possible action on request for proposal. And that's going to be Matt.
Yep. Thank you. Good morning again. This is Matt Knudson. So we're looking for support from the board this morning on two items listed, 11A and 11B. 11A is the request for proposal for Water Master Administrator and Administrator with support staff for the Antelope Valley Water Master. Included in your packet is the draft RP. It begins on page 132, and this was reviewed a couple different times with the administrative committee of directors Urasic and Ariki, as well as with the advisory committee last week. The advisory committee is supportive of the board approving the distribution of the RFP. And if you'd like, I can spend just a couple minutes going through the RFP.
Yes, please. That would be fine.
And kind of hit the highlights.
Kathy, can you hear okay? Okay, thanks.
So first section, we give some background and history regarding the judgment and the adjudication. We talk about the administrative staff being performed by AVAC and Palmdale Water District staffs over the last 5 or 6 years. We talk about the position that we're seeking. We're seeking proposals from either individuals or firms that could provide this service to the Water Master. We talk about who should apply. We put some emphasis on project management skills, being able to work with others, such as this group, having some experience, maybe working for a public agency would probably be a good fit. The earlier draft of this had an emphasis on engineering background, but we felt that with the Water Master engineer that we have on board, we didn't want this individual or firm performing these tasks competing with the Water Master engineer. So we kind of took that emphasis out. and like I said, put more of it on project management skills. We have a section on how to apply and what should be included with the RFP for those seeking to propose on this. So those 6-7 items listed there. You can see a letter of interest, a resume or resumes, the proposed work plan, proposed staffing level, roles, and organizational structure. Also, we thought it'd be important to submit a proposed transition plan and schedule for getting up to speed to take over from the current administrative staff. Preliminary annual budget, because it may be too early to hone in on this. We can fine tune that after we receive proposals. And any relationships with other parties in the judgment. Then we go into a detail what the proposed scope of work and duties as we currently see it. Obviously, the first section there, with everything's going to be in compliance with the judgment and the approved rules and regulations. But we did take a stab at preparing a detailed scope of work and how we've been performing the administrative functions for the Water Master, both AVAC staff and Palmdale Water District staff. So that covers the next couple pages. You'll see where we talk about meeting rooms and facilities. So AVAC would continue to offer utilizing the AVAC boardroom for both the board meetings and if needed for the advisory committees, and providing all the audio visual equipment associated with holding those meetings. Get into some of the customer service duties, the financial responsibilities, such as the annual budget, the invoices for both the administrative assessment and replacement water assessments, both fixed and variable. Maintain the rules and regulations. And then we provide a table showing who currently performs these various tasks for the administrative services, both myself and then Patty, Angel, and Palmdale Water District staff doing the financial leg of things. In that paragraph there, you can see we do mention that we envision a transition period, and that could take up to a year to fully transition these duties and responsibilities to the new individual or firm. And of course, AVAC and Palmdale staff will be available to the new individual firm to answer any questions and provide a historical perspective to the new administrator. We also provide the current organizational structure so individuals can see what the reporting structure is and who they will be responsible to manage and coordinate with as far as the Water Master engineer, the advisory committee, and the general counsel for the Water Master. So before we get on to the distribution list, are there any questions on the draft RFP?
Board, any questions on the draft RFP? Public, any questions? Hearing none. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. And then we also put together a distribution list for this RFP. This has kind of evolved over the last few weeks. One name that was added since the draft went out is Neil Weisenberger, kind of about 2/3 way down the list there. But as you can see, it's a mix of individuals, local engineering firms, and and kind of statewide firms that we feel could perform these services for the Water Master. So with that, I think we're looking for support, recommendation from the Water Master Board to approve both the RFP and the distribution list so we can get this out in the next couple of days. And we plan to put this on the website as well as send it out directly to these contacts. And we're seeking proposals by the end of April.
Okay. Any questions of Matt? Is
Nope.
there a motion to approve the proposal for the RFP and proposed distribution list?
This is Adam. First of all, I want to commend Matt and the staff for working very, very hard on this. I think they're very thorough, and they did a great job. Director Urosek and I, of course, met with them, so we're familiar with the text, and we're on, at least at our capacity on behalf of the board, we felt it was a good proposal and inclusive of all what we want to do. So with that, I move that we approve the staff to proceed for proposal.
Thank you, Adam, for the comments. And there is a motion to approve items A and B, the request for proposal and the proposed distribution list. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that, Kathy.
Motion made by Adam, second by Kathy. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the request for proposal for Water Master Administrator or Water Master Administrator and the proposed distribution list? All in favor of that motion by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ariki,
Yes.
Director Calandri,
Yes.
Director Urosek,
Yes.
Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We're now on the administrator's report. Matt?
All right. Good morning again. This is Matt Knudson. So on the agenda, it lists 2022 delinquent reminder notices. So per the rules and regulations, it's that time of year that we send delinquent reminder notices on past due assessments, both administrative assessments and replacement water assessments. So those have been mailed out per the rules and regulations. So I want to update the board on that. Also, the 2021 annual audit is well underway. So we hope in coming months to bring the draft audit for review to the advisory committee, administrative committee, and finally the board. And that is about it. So that's all I have to report unless there are any questions.
So Matt,
Matt,
this is
John here. Do we have a list in the package of the delinquents? I didn't see it.
Is it in the packet? Yeah. So yes, we did.
What page?
It's under the consent agenda and it's under age summary. Item C, age summary.
Okay, thank you.
And that age summary is as of February 28th. It doesn't show the ones that we have posted recently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Patty.
This is Adam. Do we include penalties in this late invoices that haven't been paid, outstanding invoices?
So it's a delinquent notice, and late fees are assessed April 1st. So if the assessments haven't been paid by then they will get a late fee added to their assessment.
What percentage of the total?
It's 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is actually one more thing I thought of. If you recall, we were holding the funds previously paid by Phelan Pending Hills
Right.
in the money market account, and that included not only their replacement water assessments, but also some attorney fees that they paid, as well as late fees. So those funds have now been transferred over to the checking account for the administrative assessments. That includes the attorney fees and the late fees paid by Phelan. So the only thing that's currently in the money market account are the replacement water assessments paid by Phelan. So we will be submitting a plan to get that replacement water supplied to the basin and those funds transferred.
Great. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
And now we're on item 13, Water Master Engineers Report. Kate?
3 tables of approved new production and small pumper qualifying parties are on page 145 of the packet. And these tables show new production on the left and qualifying small pumpers are summarized on the right. And the top tables are by year and the bottom tables are by sub-area. And these tables only show the total approved new production amounts and not what was actually pumped. And a value of 3 acre-feet per year was used for each qualifying small pumper, since this is the maximum they can produce without having to install a meter and pay a replacement water assessment. And I heard that there was some confusion last month regarding the second column of the new production set of tables, so I will briefly talk about that. And this is the amount of new production approved with Bannock's 215 acre-feet per year subtracted from the number on the left. And that's because he was only approved for use of that for like 2.5 years. And let's see, and so the values in the second column and the top and the bottom tables are different because the top represents approved new production in 2020 minus Bannock's temporary approval of 215, and so that's the 97.63, while the number in the bottom table, which is the 151.90 number, represents what was approved in the West Antelope Valley subarea, minus Bannock's 215 acre-feet per year. And starting in May of this year, that second column will no longer show because Bannock's approval will have expired. Are there any questions on this table?
Nope. Or any questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Kate.
Okay.
Appreciate the presentation.
And I actually have a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
That's okay. So we were asked to provide updates on the database and modeling efforts. And I just want to let you know that our Excel-based water accounting tables that you see in the annual reports have been transitioned to a database management system.
Yay, thank you.
Yes, yep. So much easier for me too. For an improved water accounting to better, track water accounts in the basin. And we're working on date stamping of carryover water and assignment of imported water return flows and, tracking all those numbers. And the database also includes information about original parties and transferees. We're adding wells to it when that information comes in. And it's in Microsoft Access. And we're using Microsoft Model Builder to create the reports. And those reports look just like what's been in the annual reports, kind of formatted similar to what's in the current tables and appendices A and B. And then Mike Maley of Todd Groundwater is leading the modeling efforts. And those modeling efforts we're going to use to analyze material injury, monitor safe yield components, and estimate water budgets. And he's a registered engineer, a geologist, a hydrogeologist, and an engineering geologist. And he's got more than 30 years of experience. And he specializes in groundwater models for groundwater management, environmental impact analysis, and engineering design. And Mike, do you want to go ahead and talk about the status of the modeling efforts?
Sure.
That'd be better if I unmute. Here I am. This is Mike Maley. And so for the update, we're going to use the existing USGS model and update that with the basically the Water Master database. So getting the pumping and that in there. So we have the models up and going. So we have that. And so now it's really in the process of getting all that information and getting that translated into a model input file and getting set up with all the pre and post processing procedures on that. and April, May, we're getting that up and over the hump and getting that in operation. That's what I had. Just a brief report.
Thank you.
Questions?
So when do you anticipate the model to be updated?
We're going to be updating it April and May.
Okay. So
Yeah.
by June, we'll have a model that has been calibrated and working?
Well, what we are doing, so we kind of have it in a phased approach. So we're going to, for the material injury, use the USGS model and update the pumping and into their future scenario and kind of have that rely on their approach for that. And then on the water budget side, we'll update the pumping in that as well and look at it. And we're not necessarily going to go in and recalibrate in the sense of changing parameters. We'll look at it and evaluate the groundwater elevation change, how well we're doing. But at this point, we hadn't really scoped doing a calibration in the sense of modifying the parameters.
Okay. So incorporating this additional data of water levels and storage and extraction is not going to impact the calibration of the model, the old model?
Well, we'll verify what that is. We'll get the groundwater elevations and see. First is we'll set it up and verify that we're running it. Then we update the historical, and for the adjudication model, what Geoscience did was there's more pumping data available to us as the Water Master than there was to USGS. So then we'll look at that, and then we'll at the end of this year kind of evaluate where we are, and then kind of make a decision on how far we want to go or whether we need to do more calibration. But we hadn't really. So we'll do the comparison of simulated to measured, but we're not this year did not scope having changing model parameters, that aspect of calibration.
Okay. Who are you working with from Geoscience?
Well, we're not working with Geoscience, but we had got that model files from them several years ago.
All right. Right.
So we have all that information.
I see.
Phyllis coordinated with them very early on, and we got a transfer of that information. So we'll start with that.
Understood.
Understood.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be interested in a quick monthly or bi-monthly update on where we are with this process, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Kate, is that all?
Yeah, for now.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Now we're on item 14, General Counsel's report.
May I, Chair? I have a quick question for Kate on the database. I forgot.
Sure, Adam. Go ahead.
Kate, could you tell us how this database, once fully implemented, it would streamline the process of the annual report?
I think it would just streamline the process of generating those tables for the annual report, which are mainly the appendix tables. The annual report, we still need to collect all the water level data, collect all the pumping data, enter it into the database, which is probably a little easier than entering it into my old Excel spreadsheets. And so that will be a time saving. And I think, the benefit of the database too is that we can search for things much easier and, and then use the database information to put into the model. And so that will be helpful for that.
So you're going to tie them up. You tie the database to the model.
Well, I'm going to let Mike address that. I don't want to say something that's not quite accurate, but I think that we can take the data. It'll be in a better format in the database for use in the model.
Yeah, and that would be for future discussion. I was just wondering. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. that it? Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Kate. We're now on item 14, General Counsel's report.
Yes, most of what I'm going to cover is going to be in closed session, but this is just the continuing, keeping track of the enforcement letters that went out in January to 5 entities, and confirming that we're getting cooperation and responsiveness. We keep this on the agenda for the administrative committee. We'll keep it on our agenda if there's any issues with lack of compliance that we think need to go up a notch to discuss in closed session. We'll do so. But all 5 of the entities have responded. We've gotten production reports from some, a new production application that still needs to be worked on by one. But I think in general, we've felt like there's responsiveness by each of these 5 entities, but we're not home free yet. There's still production reports that are due from some. We've got new production application by others that have not been submitted properly yet, but if something becomes an issue that needs to be taken up to a litigation discussion, we'll do so. But as of now, I think, and I can confirm with staff, I feel like we've got 5 parties that are responsive to our inquiries. One of those parties is the Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District that submitted a letter that's at page 148 of your packet. And the gist of it is a request that we being the Water Master, stipulate to their intervention. And for that limited purpose, I can tell you, I think it's appropriate that we do so. We've done so in other circumstances when we're requested to do so. But I'm careful to note that's as far as we believe the Water Master should go in terms of any stipulation. That we're not going to stipulate to the status of a party entering in as a party to the judgment. We're just stipulating that they're going to intervene without our objection and become a party. The actual, we'll leave it to Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District to select the method that they want to rely on to prove up any production right they may have a right to. But as at this point, consistent with our prior behavior in the SCI case, we'll stipulate to their intervention as a party and then let them decide how they want to push the issue of what their water right may be, if any, to the court. So that's where that is at. That's how I intend to respond to their request in their letter that's at page 148. The update on court proceedings I want to discuss in closed session, but I can report that we have another hearing on May 3rd involving the Zamalzas, and the court was very clear that it wanted to have a motion by the Zamalzas filed in April for hearing on May 3rd as to what their argument is that they're not members of the small pumper class. So that will be teed up May 3rd. The rest of the issues involving the court proceedings I'll cover in closed session. But any questions on where we are with the enforcement letters or our position with respect to Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District?
Any questions, board?
No,
Oh, go ahead, Adam.
no, I said not at this time. Thanks.
Okay, great. Hearing no questions, we'll move on to item 15, board members' requests for future agenda items. Board, any requests for future agenda items?
Yeah, Rob, I would like to ask staff and maybe working with the engineer about, in the judgment in section 19.5, we've talked about this before, but there's the sub-area advisory management committees. And I think, we're getting 2024, we get to ramp down and to production rights. I think this is something that we should talk about at the board, allow the advisory committee to discuss as well, and start making some decisions on this.
And Matt, what's your response?
Yeah. Thank you, Derek. That sounds good. We'll start looking at the judgment, refresh our memory on what it says about the sub areas, and we'll maybe tee this up for discussion with the advisory committee.
Okay, great.
And
Should we put it on the agenda for our next meeting?
Yeah, we can provide an update.
Okay.
Yeah, on next Water Master.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so we'll have a general discussion at the next meeting on section 19.5, and that will be after the advisory committee reviews it. Will that suffice what you need, Derek?
Excellent. Thank you, Rob.
Super. Okay. Any other future agenda items by any board member? Hearing none, we will now go into closed session, and it is 10:58. We will promptly begin closed session at 11:05. And is there a motion to go into closed session?
This is Derek. I'll make that motion.
Motion made by
Second, Adam.
Second by Adam. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor of the motion to go into closed session by roll call vote?
Director McLaren,
Yes.
Director Ariki,
Yes.
Director Calandri,
Yes.
Director Urasic,
Yes.
and Director Paris.
Yes, motion's carried unanimously. We'll hear all of you at 11:05.
And everybody just stay on the line, and we will move those that we need into closed session. Everybody else can just stay on the line.